It's another fine day at Camp Dynasty. I am Counselor Austin, joined by Counselor Collin, and it is Summer Scouting week number 2 for the 2027 class, which means we're talking the money-making position, the position of fantasy football that wins leagues in many cases, and that would be running backs.
Yeah, maybe the position with most scarcity, the highest drop-off of any position, where once you have an elite guy, you feel really good. But if you don't have any of those elite guys, you're kind of always scratching and clawing, and everybody's like, by the week 8, like, I need an RB2. Like, let me trade for an RB2. And that feels like it's a perpetual case. And we've been talking, and we had a really nice year in 2025 in terms of injection of talent into the running back position. Feels like 2027 might be another one.
I mean, after last year,
Yeah,
anything that was a step up was going to look great.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we're in for a very good year.
Yeah,
with the running backs. Now, I will say this, a little bit of foreshadowing with what you just said, though, about a drop-off.
Yeah.
Like the position as a whole, drop-off happens very quickly sometimes. I would say in this draft class, it's like, wow, these guys are great. Oh, it's over.
Yep.
Like it just fell off like all of a sudden. And so I think the fact that we have several guys that were exciting and like lit your eyes up on film is like, that's fine. I'd like, that's telling me this is a good class, but I'm not sure yet that it's a deep class.
Right. Yeah, that's totally fair. I think we have enough names here that are exciting and that are worthy of conversation. But I definitely feel like there were some guys that I watched and tried to watch that were like, all right, this is fine.
Yeah. And honestly, fine is sometimes good.
Yeah.
Because like last year, there was not like fine didn't exist after a certain point. It was just like everybody else. And I don't really care about any of them. But
that's a good point.
I do think that there's like several tiers to this class already. And the beauty of it, of course, is that it's June and there's a whole season coming for these guys. And a lot of these guys are young running backs, and there's a lot of opportunity ahead for some guys. There's going to be guys we talk about on this list today in the top 5s that are a lot of like, I really like what I've seen so far, but man, I think this year could be huge for you. And so there's a little bit of that baked into this. And then there's plenty of names beyond that, a mix of some older players that have shown us some things, maybe in new places now with the transfer portal and all of that. So it is a very exciting group of players overall. I just think that we'll start with number 5 in a second. And number 5 for me was quite a big step away from the rest of the list.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I feel like there are, and I'm sure that we probably have the same top 4, I would imagine, maybe in different orders.
I bet we have the same top 3.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
4 is like, I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yeah, let's find out. Let's dive into it. I'll take the reins here.
Okay.
I made you go first last week. I like to, switch it up here. I don't want to put you on the spot every time. Number 5 running back in the 2027 class for me right now is Mark Fletcher from Miami.
Same. Same here.
So maybe it's going to be 5 for 5 then. I'm really curious to hear what you thought about Fletcher. This was a player that, like, I remember 2 years ago. Was that no? Whatever year Damian Martinez was at Miami, I remember watching Martinez film and just being like, number 4 is getting the ball a lot. Like, I thought Martinez was like coming in, star transfer, like he's going to get the featured role on this Hurricanes team. And like number 4 is getting the rock a lot of the time. what is up with this? And then we fast forward, and yeah, I mean, it's because he's a pretty damn good player, I think. So Mark Fletcher, 6'2", 225 from the Miami Hurricanes, of course, like I just said. Big back, height, weight, the build, like he's a filled out running back. 4-star recruit in the class of 2023. Everybody else on my list is going to be class of 2024. He is the one here that has the extra year. But he did play as a true freshman with Miami. He was the running back 6 in that recruiting class, and he came in and got some work, 104 carries, 515 yards, and 5 touchdowns in 2023. Was that must have been the Martinez year?
Yeah, it was.
Because that's two draft classes ago. Martinez. So he was a true freshman that year that Martinez came to Miami, and he was getting the ball like a decent chunk of the time. And Martinez was coming off of a huge year with Oregon State. Yeah. And like Fletcher was getting a role in this offense. So similar season as a sophomore, a little bit of a step forward statistically. But then last year is where he takes the big jump forward. They give him the featured role. This was a team that obviously went to the national title game. He was the featured running back in this offense. 217 carries, 1,184 yards, and 12 touchdowns. And a lot of that production came in the college football playoff. 4 playoff games. He was he put himself firmly on the map over that period of time. 3 out of the 4 games over 100 yards rushing, had 90 yards in the game against Ohio State, in which he wasn't over 100. So he had a really nice run along with Miami in the playoff, and even in the national title game, 17 carries, 112 yards, 2 touchdowns in that game as well. So what I really, really liked about Fletcher was obviously the size is a huge bonus, and he has the athleticism to go along with it. Like he's not he's got some good footwork, a little bit of elusiveness, can kind of get a little crafty and make guys miss once in a while. Really good at picking up tough yards. He's a guy that you can run between the tackles on like 3rd and short confidently, and he will just, and we'll talk about the other side of the coin, but like he's just going to put the head down and just crash into the line of scrimmage, and like he'll move bodies doing that. But and then the one thing, like there was a lot of names that I considered for this spot right now. The one thing that made me put him here over everybody else, he kicks ass as a pass blocker. And that's not going to show up in your fantasy stat sheet. It's not going to turn into points necessarily, but it will turn into points if that's what gets him on the field in the NFL. And I think this is a player right now with the size and the skill set as a pass blocker that even if there's some limitations to his game right now, which we're going to talk about, he has that in his bag, and he can earn the trust of a coaching staff to put him out there to protect the quarterback. So that was the kind of tiebreaker for me right now. But what did you like about Mark Fletcher?
Yeah, it really came down to this guy is huge and fast, and he uses his size really well. So it's not just like, he has good traits. It's also he understands how to function inside of his frame, which is not always the case with some of these guys. And I just feel like between the tackles, he can be like a force. And like you said, good power runner. There's some elusiveness in his game but it feels like he's trying to like make somebody miss, whereas some people it feels like a kind of second nature reaction ability. It feels like with Fletcher that it's like this big, like I'm making a move, and it's almost like telegraphed, but what are you going to do? You got to try to go down and get these guys' legs out from under them, or else they're going to be put in the dirt. So um, I just thought that in a class of good players, and there was another guy that I considered here at 5 that I was kind of going back and forth on, but the fact of the matter was like I can see this guy playing a 3-down role on Sundays. I could see this guy, like you said, kicking butt in pass pro. He's good enough as a pass catcher. You see some reps here and there where it's like, not my favorite thing in the world, but I don't think he's going to be on the field very much on third downs. But if he is and he's an outlet, like he can catch the ball. He had 17 catches for 140 yards this year, 10 catches, 106 yards, 7 catches, 62 yards his freshman year, 4 drops last year, 2 drops the year before, 1 drop. So not a great pass catcher by any means, but like serviceable enough where you can be like, this guy can, chip and sit out in the flat. And then if I need like 5 yards, I can dump it down to him and trust him at least. And they ran him on some swing routes, some designed pass plays, some screen stuff like that. So it's not like he's a complete zero in that department. So it's just like, this is a guy that can hit a seam and go. This is a guy that can truck somebody, a guy that can be a short yardage back, somebody that you can trust in the red zone. So of like 3-level scorer, to use a basketball term, in a running back where you can trust him basically in any situation.
Yeah, I like how you put that with the elusiveness, like that aspect of his game where it isn't like that, natural.
Yeah, like you see like these guys like Gibbs and like Jeremiah Love last year and Bijan, where it's like Bijan, it was a little more pronounced with these like hard, cuts, and that's more akin to Frazier or Fletcher, but he doesn't have like the acceleration that Bijan has, so it didn't look as smooth. But
Yeah.
like with the second nature guys with like Love and Gibbs, it just feels like they're gliding across the field and like they're just making people miss because that's how they play,
There are a variety of movers on this top 5.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to cover the whole spectrum of that. And like Fletcher is just, I mean, but it's like it's like a scale where when you're 6'2", 225, if you were doing that, if you did have this like innate lateral
Yeah.
ability, then it's like we're talking about you as a top 10 kind
Right.
of a running back.
Yeah, you're Eric
It's like,
Dickerson. Like
right. So to see a little bit of like the footwork in the open space, like when he gets in past the second level, he can use his feet to kind of create those little moments where he's making guys miss. And then of course has that ability to lower the shoulder on top of it. 57 missed tackles forced last season. Pretty solid number for him. The yards after contact per attempt was 3.88. So we always say like 4 is kind of when you're in your like rare territory with running backs, like a really high end. He's right up against that. And as a pass catcher, I agree with you. I think it's serviceable. You're not going to ask him to do it, but there's reps of him doing it, which
Right.
is more than you can say with some guys. So it's nice to see him working in that way, especially because he has the pass blocking skill set where you can use him in a variety of ways out of the backfield like that. Um, in terms of the weaknesses, kind of alluded to this. The number one thing right now is the vision for me. Like he is one of these guys that just puts his is almost an over dramatization of this, where it's like he physically puts his head down a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Like he'll approach the line of scrimmage and just like bury his head. So the vision is gone at that point. Like he is taking it away and just saying, I'm going to smash whatever's in front of me. And I'm not really going to worry about what's going to come next, and I think right now that's the biggest area of opportunity for this player is that if we can see an improvement in that part of the game, if we can see him use the vision a little bit more intentionally, try to make those reads rather than just use his frame consistently and try to just smash through and break through. then I think you're talking about a player here that has like real potential as a pretty solid running back prospect. I mean, right now I'm kind of thinking of him in like the range of like a Brian Robinson. Reminds me a lot of Brian Robinson from Alabama. I think that's a good player. That's a serviceable NFL player, but not one that was ever like ready to seize hold of anything.
Right.
And I think that's kind of where Fletcher is right now.
Yeah, it could be like an opportunistic starting running back in the NFL. And like you'd be like, okay, like I'm not excited about this where considering end of the first round in the NFL, anything like that. It's like we got this guy in the third round and he can play a reasonable amount of snaps and like split with another like Ken Gainwell kind of player where like these two guys complement each other well. This is our goal line back. This is our short yardage back, and he can be fine in fantasy. And I also like, why didn't you come out in 2026? That's another, and I'm sure it has something to do with like NIL and jobs not finished and all that stuff. But that would have been
He
like
literally said that, by the way.
did it? Yeah,
like job's not finished. We lost the Natty. We're coming back.
Yeah,
like
and they have Miami, fun team this year. So like fair enough, but would have loved to see him in that 26 class because he could have been like the RB3 or like he could have pushed for RB2 against Jadarian Price because that was a not very good class. So I would have liked that, but if some names pop up through the season, some guys get better, some guys rise. I think this could be a faller given that like he's already a senior and like we might have already seen like what this player is.
Yeah.
So, but as of now, healthy number 5.
Yes. So I have a sense that we are going to go 5 for 5 here.
Okay. Because of my slip?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your number 4 is
Nate Frazier. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same.
Yeah, because I said Frazier and I was like, dang it, no. This is why I said Frazier. Nate Frazier out of Georgia, 5'10", 205. He's going to be a junior this year. Had 668 yards as a freshman, 8 touchdowns, 947 yards as a more featured piece of this offense. Last year, 6 touchdowns. A little bit of a fumbling problem, I would say. 5 fumbles in his first 2 years. Stocky player that is a fluid mover. Like I just thought when watching Frazier operate, it's just like once he squirms through the hole and gets into the open field, it is hard to get this guy wrapped up. And he is moving fast at all times. You talk about agility and like startups and like sit down speed. He gets in and out of breaks in a hurry and he moves without losing a lot of that speed. So I was impressed, to say the least, with like another one of these Georgia products that's coming out and like from the studio that brought you the long list of really good names. This is another one where he can be a short yardage back. He can be a pass catcher. He was, he looked pretty good as a pass catcher in the limited amount of reps. It's not something Georgia really has their running backs do very much. But he had 16 catches for 116 yards last year, 12 catches, 85 yards his freshman year. And like when he gets it, it's just he's the type of player that works really well in the open field. So as a pass catcher, his hands need a little bit of work. He has a couple drops. I think he has 4 drops over his first 2 years. Body catches a little bit too often. Could use him catching it away from his frame. But just great balance. He is like shrugs guys off that try to tackle high really often. He does that move where he'll kind of like throw you over his shoulder and then keep moving. So yeah, I just thought the very fluid mover. Could add some weight to his lower half, I think. He's kind of got skinny legs, but a stocky, quick player.
Yeah, this is unlike Mark Fletcher, who I think kind of almost is what he is already. This is a player that could go in both directions
Yeah.
this year. Like one of two ways this year, because either he's going to put it all together and turn into the player that I think he can be, or it's going to be another year kind of like this one, and then you're going to be left wondering what is the upside here?
Yeah.
Like what is the role for this player? A little bit of extra background here for Frazier, 4-star recruit in 2024. He was the RB2 in that recruiting class behind Taylor Tatum.
Really?
Who you've never heard of because he committed to Oklahoma and had 2 disastrous years there. And now he's playing safety for Michigan.
There we go.
5-star running back to a safety on a different program in 3 years.
Really good.
This is college football sometimes.
Beautiful.
But the RB2 in that one, Nate Frazier, like you said, had a really nice true freshman season with Georgia. Actually led Georgia in rushing that season over Trevor Achane by 65 yards. So he slightly outproduced a later round NFL draft pick as a true freshman. And then, took the step forward last year, almost 1,000 yards. So I think when you look at the natural progression of the player, his role, his output, like you see something kind of building towards what could be this breakout junior campaign. Worth noting that he re-aggravated an ankle injury on the very first play, I believe, of the scrimmage game this spring. This was an injury that he actually had last year, and it carried all the way to spring scrimmage, and he immediately re-aggravated it. And they, of course, shut him down right away. Kirby Smart's like, it's not a big deal. It's fine. It's a previous injury. We're shutting him down. But I'm like, it's kind of a big deal.
It sounds like it's a big deal.
If this was something that happened 3 months ago and he's hurt already, I don't know. So something to monitor maybe with him is the presence of an ankle injury over multiple stretches of time. But I think right now, Frazier is he's such a violent mover. He has that stocky kind of almost interesting build, you said, with the skinnier legs, but the bigger upper half. And he just cuts hard. He's one of those almost rigid cutters, where it's not very fluid, but it's still really effective,
right?
Because it's just so, the velocity off of the cut is so intense that defenders they can't react to it. So he has that skill set of being kind of this one cut, elusive type of running back. But I think the questions right now are the role, because he's always been in this tandem situation, which, I mean, Georgia's kind of done this for a long time now at this point, several years. We're kind of long past those elite Georgia running backs. They've had a lot more of these committee type of backfields. But I think in this case, you'd like to see Frazier kind of seize hold of it a little bit more this year. He actually was benched in the Alabama game after the second fumble of the season. That was in week 5. He had fumbled for the second time. He only had 4 carries in that game. He was benched. I do like if you want to insinuate it, the mental toughness, the resiliency to get benched and then to come back, not fumble again the rest of the season, earn the trust of the coaching staff, be kind of the featured guy once again down the stretch and almost get to 1,000 yards. So there's that element of it here as well. But yes, the ball security has been a problem, and it will be something to keep your eye on this year as well, to see if it continues to be a problem. So he's a player that has a lot of fun tools right now, a lot of fun flashes right now. Not a put together prospect profile right now. So this is kind of the pivot point of this class for me, where you have everybody else below this spot is kind of like you either are what you are, or I have some serious like concerns with a part of your game. Frazier is kind of the guy that's like, I'm excited to see what this year looks like for you. And I think if it breaks right, he can enter a higher conversation than where I would currently have him right now.
Yeah, I think that with him and then Fletcher too, there's room to move in both directions. With both of them, I think Frazier I think it's a higher ceiling. Where
Definitely.
it's like I could see him, if he has 1,200 rushing yards and like 13 touchdowns this year, it's going to be like there's going to be Frazier mania in the Dynasty community. So we'll see. Hopefully he gets there.
God, man, Frazier mania.
Mania
kind of started the freshman year. That game against Clemson.
Yeah.
I mean, there's transparency here. Not a ton of Frazier out there on the internet right now.
No.
That Clemson game as a freshman is one of the things that you can watch. And yeah, looked pretty damn good in that game.
Sure
so
did.
There's a little bit of Frazier mania running in 2024 with the Devi community maybe, but we'll see what 2026 looks like.
That's right.
All right. It's the top 3. I don't know about you. This is where this class shines.
Absolutely.
Right. It is a tier. You could section the tier if you want to, but like this group of 3 guys all have first round potential, in my opinion. I have 2 of them graded as first rounders right now. I have number 3 on the doorstep, and I think he gets there. And number 3 for me is Jadan Baugh.
Okay. I have him at 2.
Okay. So Jadan Baugh, Florida running back. He was first of all, 6'1", 231.
Yeah. You wouldn't be able to tell watching the tape.
Not a clue. I actually didn't. I had this
double
written
take
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I had it written down. And I remember at one time, like months ago or whatever, being like, oh my God, we got a 231-pound running back in this class? Like, that's fun. And then I'm watching him, and I like forgot that he was that size. And I'm watching him, and I'm just like, oh man, like, okay. Kind of like questioning some parts of his game. And then I go, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on a minute. He's 231 pounds?
Yeah.
Doesn't look like that at all. So he's a big dude that carries the weight well. And he was a 3-star recruit. We're going to get into a tier of guys here. Every one of these players, because I'm just going to assume they're all the same players.
Yeah.
All of these guys, 3-star recruits. In this case, Baugh was recruited as an athlete. He was athlete 32 in 2024. Played, I believe, 4 positions in high school. I think he played quarterback, running back, corner, and safety. So he's all over the place. Came in as a true freshman, as a running back, 133 carries, 670 yards, 7 touchdowns. Not bad. Nice little true freshman season. Last year, as a sophomore, 221 carries, 1,168 yards, 8 touchdowns, which was all bolstered by a 39 carry, 264 yard performance to cap the season in week 14 against Florida State. He also added 33 catches, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns as a sophomore after almost no pass catching work as a freshman. So that was a little bonus on top of his game. The 231-pound running back running routes out there. We're going to talk about that. Elected to stay at Florida despite what I don't understand, a hard push from other programs. See, this is what I don't understand about college football right now. How can you be pushing for a player if he's not in the transfer portal?
I don't know. I don't know how like the tampering and like you can't just like request a trade, can you? Like
I don't know. His dad is his agent, and his dad was like, I'm getting calls all hours of the day. I got teams all around the country being like, we want him. How much to get him? And I'm like, he's not even in the portal yet.
yeah.
So, but he elected to stay with all of that noise, with the huge programs knocking on the door. He elected to stay at Florida. So he's your number 2 running back in this class. I'd
Yep.
like to hear what you like about Jadan Baugh.
Is Jadan Baugh the best pass catching back in this class? That might be a little bit of hyperbole, but at 6'1", 230.
In this group of players?
Right.
Yes.
Yes. In this top tier, I think he is. And given the size that he is, it's like shocking to see him move. And that was the thing that stood out to me was I was watching before I looked up the measurables and the stats and everything like that to try to go in with a clean slate. And I'm like, God, this guy kind of looks like physically like an ex-receiver. Like this guy is like tall but super fluid. Like I feel like if as an athlete and as a guy that played a ton of different positions, if his high school coach as a freshman would have put him in and been like, you're our ex-receiver, like he could have been on a completely different development track and been like a pretty good route runner and like a solid just wide receiver. But they put him in the backfield, and this guy is just a freak of nature, pretty good vision, and the power that he runs with is pretty impressive. And then every once in a while he busts out like this crazy footwork on these like jukes and spins where it's like I don't know how this guy is moving this fast. Like the way that he seems to like teleport on these jump cuts is like shocking. So it's just like the traits are too good on top of the production and the tape to be like, yeah, but I like this other guy more. And we'll talk about I don't know, like this order could be different for each of us, but
Yeah.
The guy that I decided to put at 3 instead of 2, it was just like I just don't see the physical traits that this guy has in any of these other players on top of somebody that has room to grow and is already a really good running back.
Yeah, I think that's it for me right now is all of these guys are like so good, like such high level prospects right now, especially when you like compare to some of the last few draft classes, like just this emptiness of running back talent. Like to have 3 guys like this in one class is so exciting. And I think right now with Baugh, the reason that he ends up in this 3 spot for me is that I think he is the one for me right now that like this season he needs to show just a little bit more than he has already. Whereas the other 2 guys for me, I kind of saw what I needed to see last year. Like there's things that both of those guys can work on, continue to work on, of course. But with Baugh, it's a matter of, can we find the consistency a little bit this year? I think that was a thing with his season last year where you had this like unbelievable capstone performance. And then you look at kind of like what the rest of the season looked like, and it was kind of up and down. And I will say this, I 100% understand this Florida offense was not conducive to a consistent season. So I'm not saying really that this player is like, well, he's hot and cold, he's up and down, he's got like, it's just more of a matter of, I think this is a young player that's still kind of coming into this position a little bit. And he's showing you that he can play it at a high level. He's showing you the traits that you want to see. Like the traits are with this size and athleticism combination, it is like this. He could easily be RB1, be RB1 by the end of this year. If he has a big year, puts it all on display again, levels up in a few areas, he can easily be RB1 this year. And a big reason for that is the work as a pass catcher. The play for me that like dropped my jaw, and then like when I remembered that he was 230 pounds, I was almost like, I don't even believe that this happened. Like, I don't
Is this
believe.
AI?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you're 215 tops if you're doing this.
Right.
He runs a stutter go like wheel route. He like does the stutter move on the wheel route and just destroys this guy and has like 10 yards of separation, walk in touchdown. 230 pounds.
There was like 2 times where I was like, is that Devontae Adams? He got like a goal line fade back of the end zone, like contested over the top of the guy. I'm like, what is happening? Who is this guy?
Yeah, it's very impressive what he's doing as a route runner right now, as a pass catcher. Like, he is definitely the best of this bunch of players. He's the best of the top group of the class. You're gonna have like some niche guys later in the class that maybe are, profiling as better
Right.
receiving backs, but like, he is offering you that as a potential first round NFL running back. And then of course the footwork, like you mentioned, is that's a huge part of his game right now, because he at 231, he's not like Mark Fletchering out there. He's not just like putting his
Right.
head down, lowering the shoulder at guys and trying to like destroy them. He is using footwork, elusiveness, athleticism a lot of the time to win. Like, that is almost his go-to. Like, that's how he wins at this position, is with those skills over the power. And I think the power element to his game is one of the areas that he can level up this year. If he starts to show you that this 231 is like, do not try to tackle me. Like, do not come at me or I will put you in the ground. If he adds that on a consistent basis alongside of the athleticism and the elusive parts of his game, then it's like, oh yeah, then this is like top 10 caliber running back prospect, I think, at that point in time. I think the other thing for me that gave me a little bit of hesitation, and it made more sense to me once I realized what his size was. He just doesn't have like a fourth gear.
Fair. Yeah.
Which is not something that is like, I'm putting that at the top of the grading scale and like, oh, I didn't see you run away from guys, score like a 70-yard touchdown. You're you're down the board, whatever. But like, it was a consistent thing that showed up where it was like, he's getting into the open spaces, but then it just dies.
Yeah. It helps. It helps
yeah.
when your star running back can hit the home run. That's 100%.
Yes.
Like, it's not a requirement. It's not like, if you can't do this, you're not good. But if you can do this, it uncaps the potential a little bit.
Yes. Well said.
Yeah.
And I think that is one of the things right now for me that the other two guys have.
Yeah.
On
One
top
of which
of all of their other skills
is Kewan Lacy, who's my number 3.
And he's my number 2.
Okay. So Lacy, Ole Miss's running back, 5'11", 210. He started out in 2024 as a freshman at Missouri, transferred into Ole Miss in 2025. Just had an unbelievable season. 1,564 yards, 24 touchdowns on 307 attempts. 3 fumbles go along with it, and then 29 catches for 177 yards in that breakout sophomore season with 5 drops. Just like I think one of the best movers in the class, period. The fluidity that he has, the change of direction that he has is exceptional. I think he has probably the best just footwork in this class. He has really long legs, it seems like. Like,
Yeah.
The thing that I noticed is like, he's kind of upright up top, and his legs are just like these long open strides when he gets into the open field, and that allows him.
Did you see it?
Did I see what?
When you were watching him, did you see a certain player in his running style?
I don't know. Tell me.
Okay, so again, I'm going to preface this every time I bring up an elite player. This is not a comp. This is Kewan Lacy, like created player, and you choose the running style,
Okay.
and you pick Derrick Henry.
Okay. See, I didn't know if we were gonna go there, but
Because,
yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
a little
because
bit,
they're
yeah,
different builds of like different sizes,
right,
but like the running style, it was like the first thing I noticed. I
right,
was like, he is running exactly like Derrick Henry, upright, long strides, but like it's working for
yeah,
him.
and he like shells up where he like gets up here, drops the shoulders, and people just kind of like skip off of him, and I think like I said, the change of direction that he has is really good. He has really good like short area wiggle where it's just like real hard for a safety to come down on him. Golly.
Pause.
Okay. Uh yeah, it's hard for a guy to get a read on which way Lacey is going when it's coming in like a head-on collision. It's just like he never takes a hit hard. Feels like it's always a glancing blow. It does feel, and this is where the weakness comes into play. Is like I don't know if he's like the best athlete in the class, which is like not really a concern when you are like putting on like when you have that sprinter wide open, you can like turn a 7 yard gain into a 70 yard gain and you have this wiggle and like you can open up your stride and get going. I think it takes like when he doesn't have those long strides, he can be a little choppy and like he can try like be looking to find space and it translates into his physicality a little bit where it's like he's searching for somewhere to go but that's like few and far between and like it's kind of nitpicky when you look at his tape overall because there's so much of the good that like the bad is like okay yeah sure it's like he doesn't have the best acceleration but the agility and the speed is there enough but I just thought like a lack of burst was there and then like the elusiveness is good and like he has good wiggle but it's just like I don't see him like juking people out a lot. It's just like making people miss, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so we see him very, very similarly,
Okay.
and I think it does make sense to be a little bit nitpicky because like this is what separates guys from being like the top of the food chain. You know, like there's a reason why Bajan and Love and Genty were all on this like mystical tier of
Mm-hmm.
running back. And right now, one of these guys is close to that for me, but he's not there. And Lacy is in the two spot for me, is like another step away from that. And it's because of those aspects. Like he does not have that like quick acceleration to his speed. Like he is a build up runner. That is absolutely true. Like he's got the weird long legs for being a 5'11 running back. Like he looks taller than he is because the legs are just so lanky. And when he gets outside, you see it start all of a sudden it's like, oh, he's going
Yeah.
now. Like, he's starting to go now. And then he'll hit a home run. But it's not like that Love-esque, like the second foot hits the ground and he's already at like top gear. He's got to get there over a few strides. Um, I think one of the things that maybe is like why he's 2 for me and 3 for you. I think that the elusiveness in the open field is like his elite trait right now. Like I know what you're saying about like more it's more like technical elusiveness than
Right.
it is
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
fluid
It's
elusiveness
like
almost.
if it were on like Madden, it would be like the elusiveness stat and not like the juke stat.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yes. I get where you're coming from with
Yeah.
that. I think he's just operating that way at such a high level that it's like it works so often, and he makes guys look dumb a lot
Mm-hmm.
because he has this like crazy cutback ability. Such a, like, we talk about Nate Frazier being this kind of like violent cutback player. I don't know that I'd call Lacy like a violent
He
cutback, but
glides. He's one of those guys.
it's so smooth. It's so fluid, and he makes it look so easy when he's tap dancing around guys in the open field. So I think that's right now like his huge winning trait is like he is just such a tough player to manage when he gets into the second level, which he does a lot because I think his vision is also very good. Not going to call it elite because there's a tier above it, and number one has that tier above it. But good vision, can consistently navigate the tight areas at the line of scrimmage. You see that a lot in the low red zone. Like 24 touchdowns didn't happen because he was like running outside zone and like hitting home runs all day. So many of these touchdowns came within 5 yards.
I love his fight.
Yes.
And like where he's carrying guys and like lays out. He had like 4 touchdowns that just came from stuff like that, where you might find like you look at that slow-mo replay and it's like, the knee was down, or the elbow touched, and he's stretching out completely parallel and like reaching the ball out, got the hand on the ground, textbook stuff.
Yeah. Like I wrote down, he is inevitable.
Yeah.
Within 5 yards, he is inevitable.
Right.
They were running direct snaps to him like a lot of the time because it was just like, let's not even fuck around. Let's just get the ball to him. Let the line do what they're doing, because they were doing a pretty good job there at Ole Miss last year. And he's going to find a way to get in. And sometimes it's just purely like, I've made the right read. I got in behind my guys. A lot of times it's what you just said, which is I'm fighting through guys. I'm manipulating my body to get the ball over the line. And it's like 24 touchdowns is like a crazy number.
Yeah. That is like rare air.
Like Genty, I'm pretty sure had 28 that year or something. So, I mean, not far off in a season where he had a lot less yards. And it's because
he had 29.
29. So, and he had like 2,000 whatever yards.
Like 2,600.
Yeah. So 1,500 yards, 24 touchdowns. He's just a menace in the red zone for Ole Miss last year. So that's a huge positive.
70 less touches.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. But I wrote down for the weaknesses a lot more finesse than power. Like he has the ability to shake tacklers off, like show the contact balance, but like he's not a power runner. Involved as a pass catcher, but not like a big part of the game. Like he's kind of one of these guys where it's like, I think you're serviceable at this, but also like, I'm not going to say that like Jadan Baugh is like, you're an asset as a pass catcher.
Right.
Whereas like Lacy right now is more of I'm wondering what you can be as a pass catcher.
Right.
And then 3 fumbles last season as well. So another player here with some ball security, just a little bit of a check in the like, does he fumble a lot? Right. Does he not fumble a lot? And he fumbled a lot last year. So
number one.
This was like, how close was this for you?
Not very.
Yeah.
It was like in my mind, like before the like knowing the names and like going through this, it was like, yeah, this is kind of the group of guys. And then as you get into it and you watch it, it's like, oh, okay, like this is different. You know, it feels different. And so, but at the end of the day, I was like, Yeah, nah. Ahmad Hardy, pretty
Yeah,
easy. I mean, they're obviously a little bit of an asterisk on like
right.
we'll see because he got shot at a concert as a passenger in a car, unrelated to the shooting, just kind of collateral damage. Said that he's on the road to recovery, I think was the direct quote.
Yeah.
And it's like nobody really knows what that means. We don't know like where he was shot. like there's a lot of stuff up in the air, but it sounds like he is trying to play this year and he's going to play this year. So hopefully we're in for like fully ready to roll Ahmad Hardy. Kind of Brian Robinson-esque where it's like it doesn't change a whole lot about who he is as a player, but definitely still a question mark and concern up in the air because that's no small thing.
Yeah, I mean, without that situation, the conversation is completely different.
Right.
But there is this black cloud hanging over this whole situation because you and I are both saying Ahmad Hardy, easy RB1 in a very good to like great top end of a running back class. Like he was the guy. It was not a discussion for either of us to put him here. And yet now there has to be a discussion because we don't know what this season is going to look like and what beyond is going to look like. And like you said, I think from a health perspective, he's fine. Like he's not in the hospital anymore. Like he's fine. Like they're saying that he's like nothing will affect him like personally moving forward from this. But the fact of the matter is he's a running back that was shot in the leg.
Right.
And it's like that no matter what happened, like what the fallout was from that, like there's a road to recovery that needs to happen. And there's also a question of what player is there when he reaches the finish line of that road. You know, like there is that question. And the ideal world, and like I think what everybody's hoping for is that it won't really matter at the end of the day. Like he'll recover and everything will be fine. But just the vagueness of how they're talking about it right now, I don't think any of us can feel like any sort of security that that's a thing that like they're not saying that they're not worried about him
Right.
as a player, you know, like that's what's not being said. So but let's talk about the player.
Yes.
Because Kewan Lacy was a 3-star recruit and was at Missouri, which is what's really funny about this, because Kewan Lacy went from Missouri to Ole Miss, and Ahmad Hardy came into Kewan Lacy's spot at Missouri, and they both had massive seasons as like 3-star, not really notable recruits. Like Lacy was a little bit more notable because some outlets had him as like a low 4-star, 24/7 had him as a 3-star. In Hardy's case, he was a nothing. He was a nobody. He was a 3-star recruit that 24/7 had ranked as the 153rd running back in the 2024 recruiting class. He committed to UL Monroe. He was their 10th highest rated recruit in that 2024 class. Like you're talking about a program that's not really attracting top talent.
Right.
He's the 10th guy in this class for them. Like he's not the prize of the class. You know, he's just a guy. And he came in as a true freshman and went crazy. Like it was Genty-esque what he was doing as a true freshman at a small program. 238 carries, 1,346 yards, 13 touchdowns, but all of that backed up by a 90-plus missed tackle force season. He was third in missed tackles forced as a true freshman behind Ashton Genty and Cam Scatterbo.
Good players.
Like two of the best tackle breaking players, like the best tackle breaking player, and then one of the other best that we've ever seen at Camp Dynasty.
Yep.
So like for him to be in that conversation as a freshman, as an unknown, as a nobody type of a recruit, it was like, what the hell is this? Like, who is this guy? And he transferred to Missouri, 4-star transfer, went from RB 153 to a 4-star transfer, ended up at Missouri, and then last season proved it. It was like, you're going from the Sun Belt to the SEC. What is that going to look like? 257 carries, 1,648 yards, 16 touchdowns. Added another 90-plus missed tackle for season, 97 last year, 190 missed tackles forced in 2 seasons of college football. And when you put on his film, it looks like that. It looks like one of these guys that has this rare ability to just not be tackled.
I remember watching Genty and being like, it just seems like nobody wants to tackle him. Like, it feels like he is like a north to north pole magnet, and like they're like repelled from him. Hardy feels similarly. It's like he comes up and comes to the line of scrimmage, pops through, and then any one-on-one, these guys just feel like they have zero chance to get their hands on him and bring him down. Like, they might get their hands on him, slow him down, like enough time to rally the troops and get him down. But if he's in like a one-on-one situation, it feels like a huge sigh of relief if the defense can get him on the ground. And so this was, like I said, a pretty easy one to me. Also, like, I'm sure Ahmad Hardy could wear whatever number he wants. Like, he could probably say, yeah, I want to wear 1. I want to be like, what every NFL player does when he gets to the league. He's wearing 29, and I think that's awesome. And maybe that changes now that he has a year under his belt at Mizzou, and like now he's the man on campus. But if he sticks with 29, I don't think there's a thing that could happen that would take him off number 1 on my board. And if he wears number 29 in the NFL, come on. That's just everybody wants to wear a single digit. And I'm over it. I'm ready to go back to the good old days where wide receivers wore 80 and running backs wore numbers in the 20s. But I digress. Hardy, just like such a unique mover. Unique footwork. Gets like, there are times where he is almost like, it feels like he's cutting off the wrong foot sometimes. Like he's cutting off his like inside foot and then like moving just like unpredictably. And I think that adds to this shiftiness and this like slipperiness that he has. Isn't maybe the fastest player in the world, which is like something that we've talked about with a few of these guys outside of Kewan Lacy, who can like open it up and become a sprinter and get out, but has good acceleration, has good power, has good elusiveness, has these like shifty moves, but it definitely gets caught from behind more often than you would like for like one of these top tier elite prospects.
Yeah, I think he's the closest thing we have to putting it all together in this class. Like he's not a sprinter. He's not a long speed guy, but it's kind of like, and I hate to do this, but I'm just going to do it. Like there's so many parallels between him and Ashton Genty for me right now.
Can I say Marshawn Lynch?
Sure. Yeah.
I feel that's who I felt he was closest to when I was watching him, just because like the movement style is so unique and like nobody can tackle him.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, he is in that ilk of running back. And the reason I'm saying Genty is just because we just did that like
Yeah,
2 years ago, and it's like I'm just remembering what that looked like. And Genty was not a player that had elite speed either, but he was still finishing these long runs
right.
consistently. And I think you saw that from Hardy last year too. You're never going to say he's a low 4.4 4.3 kind of a player, but he is capable of hitting these home run plays because of how he is manipulating space in the second level. And he has enough athleticism to finish the plays when he gets into that area of the field. I thought the acceleration was the thing for me that really like solidified that we were talking about a really high end running
Yeah,
back player, because the question for me going in, knowing about this player, knowing about the missed tackles force numbers, what is it going to look like from an athleticism standpoint? And when I saw the acceleration, I was like, okay,
hmm,
like this is another one of these guys. Like we are talking about a running back that can flirt with high first round draft capital potentially, because he has this package of speed, agility, toughness.
hmm.
He's a bruiser.
Yep.
He's a bruiser. Baugh is a player that's 230 but looks like he's 215.
This is a December player
Yes,
that like will like remove the will to compete from your defense.
because he's 206.
Yeah,
He's playing more like he's 220.
true.
He is running at guys and punishing them. And like you said, he's one of these guys that has kind of this weird, you don't really understand why it's happening, but guys just, they cannot get him down. Like he'll bowl guys over, he'll slip off of guys, he'll one cut people into the dust. Like he's doing all of it, but then he's also got those plays where you got both hands on him. This is over for 98% of running backs.
Right.
And then all of a sudden he's still going. And it's just like, what? Okay. So I thought that blend was like, that's when you know you're talking about something really special. And I think he has that.
Yep.
He has all of that. And so, and the vision here is, this is what we're talking about. This is a guy that is running almost exclusively zone in college. At UL Monroe, it was like over 4-1 zone to power. And then last year at Missouri, it was like over 2-1 zone to power. He has the vision to do that. Like he is able to navigate those zone runs inside, outside. He's able to do that all at a very high level. It's, again, I'm going to keep doing this. It's like the Genty stuff where it was like he has this almost instinctual ability to read the play at the line of scrimmage and just know where to be and know how to win right away. And so, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that's the kind of player that we're talking about here. Now, the problem, or the things that are holding him back, I'm not even talking about the situation off the field, but that's a part of it. That's absolutely a part of it right now, because we don't know what that looks like. But on the field, something that he doesn't do is catch passes. Not like nothing. He's not a pass catcher at all. And all of these guys that go in the top part of the first round now are catching passes.
Yep.
Every one of them.
He has 17 total targets, 3 drops on 17 targets. Not good. 14 catches for 94 yards. So that's nothing.
That's the big question mark with him, is if you have a guy that has this level of talent as a running back, but is not a factor as a pass catcher, where is he going to go? Because you can point at Genty's like final season in college and say he wasn't really catching passes. The year before that, he was the best pass catching back in college football. And Love, obviously, we know about that. Like Bijan was not, it wasn't like a big part of his
You could
game,
tell though.
but you could tell.
Yeah.
This is something where it's like you might actually not be able to do this.
Right.
So,
but he also like against Arkansas had a D tackle, linebacker, and cornerback wrapping him up at the 50-yard line and scored.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, but that's the kind of stuff. Like you talk about where are the weaknesses with the player.
Right.
That's the weakness. And it could be a bigger deal than you want it to be, especially when you have a guy like Baugh who could take this big step forward that's offering you the size, the athleticism, all of that. But
I comped to Devontae Adams.
Who you literally said is Devontae Adams reincarnated out of the backfield.
Right.
Like that is a thing that could end up mattering.
There it is.
That's it.
We had the same 5 guys.
We did. I'm actually I don't know if I'm surprised by that, but like I'm a little bit surprised that like I feel like there's some other names here that I was maybe expecting, like, oh, you might have him at number 5. You might have him at number 4. Like there are more guys. I think having the same 5 across our list kind of like makes it seem like this class is 5 and then like whatever. But I think there's some other guys definitely that are worth shouting out. Who are those guys for you?
Isaac Brown out of Louisville. I
expected you to have him in your top 5.
Yeah, I had him at 5. He was kind of who I was going back and forth with Fletcher. Very elusive back, a guy that like just hard to get your hands on. Skips in and out of like. I just don't like his running style. Like it feels he's very upright for a guy that is like not breaking a ton of tackles in like one-on-one situations. He relies very heavily on that, on his elusiveness. Like and if that's not going for him, not a ton is there. Also took a step back in his second year because of injuries, whereas like 1,100 yard rusher his freshman year, and then down to 800 yards and missed 4 or 5 games. So just like a good player, a good elusive back, 5'9", 190, a like could be a good pass catcher, I think, but doesn't really show that very much. Only had 13 catches for 48 yards. So there's just a lot of question marks around Isaac Brown for me.
Yeah, like he was a player that I was really excited to watch because of that true freshman season, the 1,100 yard, like, and another player, like another guy that kind of came out of nowhere, was not like a highly regarded recruit for them, and had this unbelievable season. And then, the tape was just like, it wasn't what I wanted it to be at all. And I 100% agree with you. Too upright as a, like, he's a small running back that's running upright. And I'm seeing him get tackled way too often. And what's really weird about that is the yards after contact per attempt number is like insane.
Yeah.
Like 190-pound running back with a 5.33 yards after contact per attempt number. That is nuts. And I'm thinking to myself, is this guy going to be like RB2?
Right.
And that number just does not show up on tape.
No.
I'm not sure.
It's got to be from a few like breakaways.
Yeah.
Like kind of ballooning that number a little bit.
Because there's a couple of times where like a guy, like he'll be crossing line of scrimmage and a guy will kind of get an arm on him.
Yeah.
But he's moving too quick. And then that's technically after contact. Yeah. But like, it's not a scenario where he is engaging tacklers and winning like almost ever.
Right. Exactly. So, yeah. Those one-on-one situations that like we were just talking about Ahmad Hardy, who's in like the top of the class here, but where it's like if you're one-on-one with Ahmad Hardy, it's like a miracle if you win. It feels like you are surprised when Isaac Brown wins those exchanges,
Yes.
which is
And
not really what I'm looking for.
yes. And I was hoping, like, because 190-pound running back, I'm not going to sit here and say he should be breaking all those tackles, like whatever. But then I want you to be a like nightmare speed threat.
Yeah, you got to
And
be an elite mover.
yeah, he's an elusive player. He's shifty. He's not a 1, 2, 3, I'm gone.
Right.
So I think there's a lot of limitations with him right now. And I'm excited to see what this year could look like. Like you said, there's some injuries last year. Obviously, it could be related to the size, of course. We'll see what this year looks like. But yeah, not what I was hoping for from him. I ended up kind of being like a lot lower on him than I wanted to be.
I just don't want you showing your defenders your chest, man. Like he is running like feels like just like above his waist. Like he's not leaning forward at all. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Justice Haynes.
Dynasty
legend.
Dude, I know. Like I feel like Justice Haynes is kind of now like
underrated.
We tried this in a bad class, and then it was like I don't care anymore.
Right.
I mean, based on what I saw last year, how I had him graded last year, I think he's in the conversation for like RB5 in this class right now.
That's what I'm saying. Is like he's going to be at Georgia Tech this year, which is a change. You'll recognize him from Michigan. He like is absolutely in this range of this class where yes, maybe you overrate him in the 26 class because you're working with not very much. You're working with like loose change in the couch cushions. And it's like Justice Haynes, hey, he's kind of fun. You know, he does some things well. But when you're talking about him as a RB6, when you're talking about him as like RB7, you're a little more receptive to like, okay, he does a lot of things well. He's just not a ceiling hit piece. You're not looking at a home run with Justice Haynes. You're just like, hey, he's a fine running back.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Not a difference maker, but really solid. Like will contribute, will be an NFL player. And I think in this class, like with him being more of the RB 6-7 type of guy, like that makes more sense for him.
100 yards and a touchdown in every game except
one I mean, like
that he played.
Great season.
Consistent.
I'm excited to see like what it looks like at Georgia Tech. Obviously, being at Michigan, the infrastructure is in place to do that kind of stuff. But like, I don't know, maybe he can show a little bit more of like a I'm doing this type of thing at Georgia Tech this year and earn a little bit more respect. But there is like a lot of other names in this class, and like because I think the conversation with like Fletcher, Haynes, Brown, like the tenor of that kind of, you could tell we're talking about guys that are a little bit later in the draft as of today. Like these are guys that are late day 2, day 3 type of running backs for me. Anything beyond that is kind of like a whatever, wait and see for fantasy purposes. But there are names like it's not like I don't have guys that I care about after that. Like there's a few guys. Hollywood Smothers is the one for me that I'm unbelievable name. And going to Texas from North Carolina State, having a chance to be in this high powered offense. Like I'm excited to see what that looks like because he had a really nice year last year. Very surprising player when I watched him because he's another smaller guy, but he plays bigger. It's almost like he's like the opposite of what you'd expect. I'm expecting to turn on like this firecracker, elusive, like lateral agility type of back. And he's way more like I'm pass blocking, I'm running through guys, I'm spinning off guys. But then when I have to like make a move, it kind of looks bad. Like
right.
He's not really like doing the juke thing well. So, but anyway, it's a good class.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Like it's a fun group. And the fact that we have 3 guys at the top of that caliber and Jeremiah Smith already has 101 like signed, sealed, and delivered.
There will be arguments at the end of the season for Ahmad Hardy 101. Guaranteed.
Yeah. As long as everything checks out.
Well, right. Given a good obviously, given things go well, and he has a similar season this year than he did the last, it's going to be just because of the state of running back in Dynasty. That's absolutely going to be a thing.
People will lose that argument, but it will be had.
Yes.
So, but all I'm saying is, last year I didn't want to touch 106 with a 10-foot pole, and this year it's like if you have 104, like I know it's June, I get it, but like right now, it feels like if you have 104, you're getting like an elite player.
Yeah.
So 2027, it's delivering so far, and we'd love to see it.
God is good.
If you enjoyed our discussion about the 2027 running back class, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you're catching us on YouTube, helps the algorithm find us and deliver us to all of the other Dynasty players that need to understand how great this top tier running backs are for this year's class. If you're listening on the audio feed, be sure that you have followed and rated and liked the podcast wherever you are choosing to listen. Leave a review if you so choose to do that. Leave a comment on Spotify. Leave a comment on YouTube. We want to hear what you think about this running back class. Who's your RB1 of this group of three? Maybe you have a deep sleeper that you're like, I think this guy's going to be RB1 by the end of the year. I'd love to hear that too. But we appreciate all of that if you want to do any of those things. Next week, we will not be here.
Nope.
It took 3 weeks this season.
I'll be in Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a legitimate reason.
Yes.
You are disconnecting.
I'll be in the Wild West.
Yes.
In a cabin in Yellowstone National Park with my wife. And sorry, guys.
Sounds heavenly.
Yeah.
And while you're there, I hope to God that you aren't watching any quarterbacks, but that's what we're going to be doing in 2 weeks from now. We will be talking about this 2027.
Luckily, we prepped a lot with Dante Moore and Arch Manning last year. So I have some background knowledge about these guys in the class. So there will be work to be done between now and what would be next Tuesday. But after that, we're unplugging, enjoying nature.
Love it. Love it.
And I've gotten 2 notifications. Victor Wembanyama elbowed in the face and Victor Wembanyama tackled. So I have to imagine, like, this is... We're at a point where Wembanyama pushes Brunson, and the entire city of New York is now going to try to get their lick back. But
dude, the butterfly effect, or like the alternate realities of a finals that included the Thunder, and a finals that included Wembanyama versus New York.
Yes.
I mean, we literally are single-handedly back.
We win
with the NBA right now because of this series. Like, it's the 90s, baby. We're back.
We are back.
All right. We will see you in a couple weeks. Thanks for stopping by Camp Dynasty this week, and we'll see you next. No, we'll see you in 2 weeks.